got. And one, as soon as we got it in the books, I've been stoked about getting this date to come, because we sure love this gentleman, and for what he stands on, and appreciate what he does. But guys, before we get going, let's do a little business. Um, Lights out on the water, not out with Firefly Outdoor Marines. This navigational light blasts bright without eye blindness or attracting bugs. Make sure you're seen on the water with Firefly Outdoor Marines. Go to fireflymarine.com, use discount code DECktop10, and make sure you get your discount there, brother. So, guys, this is one episode that, again, we've been looking forward to, and I'm ready to get this one going. Pappy, what about you?
Yes, sir. But we got one more official business for our men and women in uniform. To salute to valor. We got Senior Airman Jay Angel, U.S. Air Force, 1989 to 1993. He served in MOS as air traffic controller. Thank you, Mr. Jay Angel. We appreciate all the men and women out there that has served and continues to serve to keep our country safe and free. And we thank you. I mean, I can't thank you enough. It
Yeah.
truly is a blessing to have our men and women in uniform.
Amen, baby.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so, with that being said, let's give Mr. Lucas Black the introduction. We got, guys, you probably recognize this gentleman's face from the big screen, and from like Friday Night Lights, Fast and the Furious, and my favorite 42. And but if you didn't know, he is one heck of a fisherman, and
One heck.
Appreciate it.
we want to help kind of do like what he says. Let's bring masculinity back. And so,
That's right.
with that being said, let's welcome Lucas Black. What's up, brother?
All good things, man. I appreciate y'all having me on the show.
Man, thank you.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, heck yeah.
Absolutely, we are too. I'm gonna jump right in, man. I can't wait to ask a question. Uh,
Oh,
so describe your best day on the water this season, and what has made it special for you.
man. Well, there's a couple that come to mind, so it's going to be hard for me to pick one. But this year was a lot of ups and downs. I guess a lot of years are like that in tournament bass fishing that I'm learning. But I fished a Toyota event at Gunnersville and actually didn't do very well on the first day. Had a very poor first day and was just like, man, down in the dumps because I had high expectations. Had a good practice, found solid fish in Browns Creek, and that's where I headed, and they all disappeared. And you know how it goes, tournament fishing. And so
Yeah.
the second day, I was like, man, what am I going to do? So I'm praying. I'm like, just trust the Lord and go fishing. And I went into a totally different area, stayed up north, and just went frog fishing, and ended up catching over 20 pounds and caught them all on a frog.
Oh,
And
wow.
this was in, I think it was early May, and there was a shad spawn going on. But I pretty much abandoned the shad spawn, and that's how the tournament was won on that. And a lot of big bags were caught on it. But I love to fish shallow, and I love to frog fish, and I was just like having so much fun, and just I looked up to the Lord, and I'm like, only you could do this. And so
Yeah, yeah.
that was special, and that was kind of a moment to just keep going and keep trusting and keep believing. And so that was one that sticks out this year for sure.
Yeah. Now, with being loving frog, I mean, you're on probably one of the best frogging lakes that is in the country. That's is pretty much right in your back door.
Yep, Yep. Well, I live in Southeast Georgia right now.
Oh,
And,
okay.
yep. But yes, growing up in Alabama, I actually grew up fishing Smith Lake. That's what I consider my home lake. And I'm
Okay.
heading next week, or actually tomorrow. I'm heading there. I got a tournament Saturday for the ABT 100. Uh, so really looking forward to it to kick off the season for 2026 right there on my home lake. So
Oh, heck yeah.
pumped up. I've been gearing up all day today and organizing tackle and putting all my hunting gear away and getting all the fishing gear out. So
There you go.
Yeah.
it's going to be fun. But yeah, man, I guess when I actually moved to New Orleans to do NCIS New Orleans, that's really when I started learning that I was a shallow water fisherman. Like, because
Yeah.
fishing in those marshes and in those canals, I fished a frog and a square bill crankbait and a speed worm, and man, I fell in love with it. And so, pretty much, that's what I try to do everywhere I go now, all over the country.
I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how has your relationship with God shaped your approach on how you compete in fishing?
Man, that's a great question. Um, I feel like it's one of those things where you take a leap of faith, right? And in fishing, there's so many variables out there that are out of our control. And
Right.
so you got to focus on the things that you can control. And it's really a huge mind game, right? A head game. And so for me, I have to trust the Lord in this game of fishing. And so, it's one of those things where you can get caught up and spun out real quick. And so just having him my relationship, and that's where my identity lies, right? It doesn't
Right.
lie on the results of fishing. And so I can go out there on the water in peace and just enjoy his creation. And that's what's
Yeah.
amazing about our God,
Oh yeah.
that I feel like he reveals himself to me every time I'm outdoors. And one of my favorite verses is Romans 1:20, and it speaks upon that. Like, we have no excuse not to know that God is real because
Right.
of the created things. And so that's one reason why I love fishing, just being able to put pieces of the puzzle together, why the bass are set up here the way they are, what's bringing them there. It shows God's order. He's the one that directs the fish and directs the wildlife and the animals and the birds in the air. And
Right.
so just to be out there in that element uh, shows that he is real, and I feel like as a man, he actually created us in the wilderness. It talks about in Genesis.
Right.
And so um, I feel like it's part of our being. We yearn to be out in the wild and in creation, whether you know it or not. When you're out there fishing and you feel that peace, like you've heard the saying, it fishing is good for the soul, right? You've heard that saying. Whether you know it or not, that's because you are in the presence of God when you're out in His creation, and so that's the peace that comes from Him that
Yeah.
you feel when you're out there fishing.
Well,
That's that's
and
that's good.
which Pappy and I, we talk about. There's no better therapy than being that water therapy that you get being out just wetting the line or just in the woods in a tree stand. That therapy there, just being in nature. I mean, that's probably the best for me. That's the best kind of stress release to be able to get out in and just kind of be one with the nature that God has given us,
That's right.
and so we I mean we thoroughly agree with what you're saying. I mean because it does wonders, especially on a stressful day, and you got 20 million different things running through your mind, and going and spending, even if you spend 30 minutes out in the water fishing off the bank, I mean, that is the best therapy you're going to get.
Well, yeah,
That's
I tell
right.
you, and I tell you something else. I mean, I know I find a lot of peace in it and tranquility, I guess you could say, is it, whether I'm in a tree stand or on the deck of a boat or on the bank of a creek or lake or whatever. It's just that time that you have, you know, with yourself in nature and God,
Yeah.
you know, and
That's right.
it's a strong connection there, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's just nothing like it, especially when I'm hunting and I'm in a tree and I'm watching the woods wake up and then you see the squirrels start squawking and you know the birds chirping and you know it's so unreal of how you know God has created everything to work in unison and you know and we get the pleasure to watch it. Well,
Yeah.
most of everybody anyways that get out there and
Yeah.
everybody should. And I
That's
love that, and I love your saying that, you know, we need to get back to masculinity big time.
that, that's right.
Yeah.
We had a question from Michelle. She wanted to know, how do you keep your relationship with Jesus strong in the film industry in today's time?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I feel like I have to give a lot of credit to my parents because I was raised in a Christian home. And
Mhm,
so, um, it talks about in the Bible about the foundation being built on the rock, right? And the rock is Jesus. And so fortunately for me, I grew up in church and I feel like I had decent enough biblical teaching to help keep me grounded, and then I was able to realize what was right from wrong, um, really quick. And
mhm,
then I guess being in the entertainment business at an early age, I was 10 years old when I started. Um, I was able to observe broken families because people were married to the job, traveling so much, whether they sought after fame or fortune. Usually people think it's kind of a easy job, but it's long hours, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of work. Usually when you're off of work, you just want to sleep. So
mhm,
I was able to see uh, broken families in the entertainment business, and that was because uh, they were kind of married to the job, and what they chose to go after really wasn't conducive to good relationships,
right,
and so luckily for me, I was grounded in faith. But there was some trying times for myself as
Well,
well, and God brought me closer to Him through all that, and so just blessed to be able to have that foundation that I could stand on, that I wouldn't fall to temptation as
mhm,
easily as if I didn't have those roots.
yeah.
yeah.
Now, can you tell us about the 77 times and with your hat and stuff like that you have? I mean, you got some killer merch, and guys,
Bring
in the
masculinity back.
description. Yeah, there, bring
Mhm,
masculinity back. Heck yeah. So, but guys, in the description, there is a link straight to the 77 Times brand. And so make
Good.
sure you go check it out. Go get some merch because he's got some killer shirts and hats. And I mean, everything's in there. So, but can you tell us like how it came about and what it actually stands for?
Yeah, absolutely. So, people uh, would tell me, man, you should start a brand. You should start a brand. And I didn't really want to start a brand. um, and I definitely didn't want to start a brand, like my own brand, like the Lucas Black brand.
Right.
And so I was just thinking one day, you know, a lot of a lot of us men, we have a hard time with church, and it's understandable. And I'm still trying to figure out, and I talk to church leaders all the time of what we can do differently to get men really excited about going to church. Um, but we love sports, just like how you guys, your favorite movie of mine was Friday Night Lights, Pappy, and Colin, yours was 42. So we love sports. And so I feel like the Lord put it on my heart. Well, if the body of Christ, look at it like a team, like we're on Team Jesus. And so I was going through reading in my Bible, and the verse from Matthew 18:22 is what the brand is built off of.
Right.
And there's a couple of reasons why, but Peter comes and asks Jesus, how many times should I forgive a brother and sister? 7 times. And Jesus replies, not 7 times, but 77 times. And some versions say 70 times 7. But the idea is to continually forgive those of us
Yeah.
who have accepted Christ and asked for his forgiveness, and he lives on the inside of us. We have to continually forgive each other, you know,
Yep.
and that is actually a requirement out of God's chosen people. But it hit me, hey, if we put a number like on a jersey and we put that number, it's like a team. So I
Mm-hmm.
look at the brand like 77X is
Mm-hmm.
like a team, and then it gives people an opportunity to be able to share the gospel because I feel like we as the body of Christ, and especially as men, we need to become a little more bold about sharing our faith.
Yep.
And so I felt like this was a good opportunity to kind of break that ice, and for somebody to be curious that sees you out there wearing 77X, they say, hey, what that mean? What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
It gives people an opportunity to share their testimony about Jesus and how Jesus has forgiven them, and that we are part of a team and a team to spread Jesus. So that's kind of how it came about, and that was the idea. Um, and so just super grateful to see what the Lord has done, and it's super encouraging to see men of God wearing it and sharing their testimonies. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
do
and
you
the
get
thing is,
to go ahead?
for me, and it's amazing what God will do to what we think is a little thing. Wearing a
Mhm.
hat that says 77 times. That somebody sees it that may not know him, to like he's working on them, because it's not really that or easy for some people to go up and be like, what does that mean? But the doors that he opens, just like what you're saying, just with wearing a hat, and then you can be like, hey, this is what it stands for. I mean, and that if you're able to, any kind of tool that you can use to witness to somebody is, and it's amazing just how God works on just a little thing. I mean,
Yeah.
going
That's,
and
I
going
tell
to a
you what,
restaurant and tipping somebody, I mean, leaving a good tip, that may be a way to also how you witness to somebody while you're eating and stuff. And it's what God does with just a little bit is, I mean, outdoes what our biggest dreams could ever do. And so,
that's right.
um,
That's right.
but that's what. So, what were you saying, Pappy?
Oh, I was just going to ask him. Do you get the opportunity to wear your hat like at these tournaments and stuff? And if so, how many on an average, just say, would come up to you and ask you about the 77X?
Yes. So, yes, I do wear it when I'm fishing in tournaments. I have this one here. It's got the American flag on this side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. And
Good
then
looking hat.
I also have a black one in this color, but that's the one I wear predominantly when I'm fishing. Those two. Um, but yes, I wear it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Out when I travel to hunt, or when I'm going into town or whatever, I'm wearing it. And so it is surprising to me how many times people will ask about it,
Right.
Yeah.
uh, and it is, it's fun. It's all different type of people. Some people that may not believe in God, and then some people that do, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's been cool to see how the Lord's worked through it.
Yeah.
But even for myself, okay, because there's times in this world where I might get aggravated at someone, and it's convicting, but I'm like, hey, this right here is on my hat and on my shirt, and I've got to brand forgiveness on my heart, so I've got to let it go, let it
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
go. So even for myself, it's helped me walk in peace and wear forgiveness on my heart. And ask the Lord for help for it, because
Yeah.
that's one of those things that's tough for us. And I believe we can't do it on our own, you know. And I will say this as a couple of things just to get into some of the things that I've seen and had questions about that I feel like as Christians and as men of God, sometimes we get confused about forgiveness and reconciliation
Mm-hmm.
because it's dealing with a relationship most of the time. And so forgiveness is between you, your heart, and God. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's basically between you and God. The person that has offended you or that's aggravated you, made you mad, or whatever, doesn't have to come and ask or apologize or ask you to forgive them. Okay, forgiveness relies solely on you. Um,
Exactly.
Conciliation is a two-way street. Okay, which means if for the relationship to be reconciled, you can forgive that person, okay, the offender, but they have to repent and show you that they're not going to do that again. Then the relationship can be reconciled. If they come and ask for your forgiveness, that's one way, and things like that. So I've seen a lot of times where we get those two confused. And even for myself, when I learned that, that was kind of a breakthrough moment for me that just because someone's that offended you, it doesn't mean like they have to come and apologize or ask for your
Right.
forgiveness for you to forgive them.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal for me, So
Yeah.
just wanted to share that little tidbit.
Yeah. And I mean, because it's almost like you were sitting in church with me when I heard a preacher say that pretty much the exact same thing, and he was like, the person that offends you, uh, you know, probably 90% of the time does not even know that they offended you and is at home asleep right now and not even thinking twice that they offended you because they don't know. And
Yep.
and that's where he was kind of leading, like, you have to forgive them and stuff. And so but I mean,
Yep.
I definitely
Couldn't
agree.
agree
So
more. Couldn't agree
yeah.
more for sure.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
you was talking about a little bit about doubt there, right? So
Mhm.
when you're fishing in these big tournaments, MLF tournaments, and doubt kind of creeps in, just like the old slew foot kind of creeps in.
Yep.
How do you shake it? What is your process in shaking that doubt and saying no?
Man, yeah, that's I feel like the great thing about fishing is you have a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And some people can get overwhelmed by those options, but it having, a different challenge each day, right? We got weather changing, water depth or whatever, if it's current, less current, whatever, all those things we could talk about, those elements are changing daily. And so that brings challenges, new challenges, and we have to accept that. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Fun to go on a new challenge and a new adventure. I think as men, we kind of thrive in that environment, and that's part of that bringing masculinity back when we look at the challenge and go and meet it head on
Right.
with that competitive spirit, that drive that God's given us. That's fun. So when a doubt tries to creep in, I try to remind myself of that, and then I think of a new idea, because a new idea gives you a spark.
Mhm.
Okay,
Right.
and you got to believe in yourself. And so if I get a new, even if that new idea doesn't work, it's going to give me a spark of energy. So when that doubt creeps in, I'm like, well, um, man, I could go do this, and this could be fun. And hey, let's look at the situation, evaluate what's going on, and let's go try it and see if that works. And so for me, um, I just like the idea of having tons of options and staying open minded and being able to adjust and have a new idea when that doubt starts to creep in. You know,
Right.
that's how I look at it. I'm kind of a tinkerer as well with
Mhm.
my equipment tackle, and that keeps it fun for me.
Mhm.
So so if it I might make it just a small adjustment with tinkering with my tackle, and that's going to spark new energy for me.
Right.
And if I get that bite, then my confidence starts soaring, and that doubt goes away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when, like, how soon, like, do you pull the trigger? Like, if you're fishing and like you haven't got a bite, let's say in 30-45 minutes, how fast are you pulling the trigger to make that transition to go to some, are you before that 30-45 minutes trying to when you're in a tournament situation trying to find that bite? Are you before that making it? Are you is how are you going about trying to make that decision on I need to transition to something else?
Yeah, that's good. I got to get better at that, better decision making. But I feel like I'm the I think somebody's catching them, and so I'm pretty quick to pull the trigger. If I'm going through there and it's not working for me, like I said, I feel like I have a lot of ideas and a lot of things that I want to do, and so I'm pretty quick to pull the trigger um, if it's not working for me.
Right.
And so I evaluating last year, you know, I felt like I fished pretty fast, you know, even though there's times where I can slow down and there's times where I did slow down. But this year I felt like, okay, I'm going to slow down and be a little more methodical, but have a little more intentional cast of where I'm going to cast and my targets. And so it's not like I'm slowing down uh my fishing. Is more of just right there on that cast being real precise, and then if I don't get bit, move on. Does
Mhm.
that
Right.
make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's a new idea that I'm going to focus on to try to um, do that this year. Because last year I felt like I just kept moving fast and everything started speeding up, and then I realized, oh, I need to slow it back down. So
Right.
um but I'm pretty quick to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Now,
So
have you seen or okay, so and I'm gonna ask you about your boys because they're
Yeah,
they're hilarious. I love watching your videos and your boys. Um,
appreciate
uh, so do you see them kind of when you get them out in nature or on the boat or out in the woods? Kind of are they turning into their own identity, or are they really focusing in on dad?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, I think a lot of times they're turning in their own identity, especially my oldest son. he is more adventurous,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I like that too. But as far as like hunting goes, you know, he it it doesn't have to be like a plan. Like let's
Right.
go climb this tree stand. You
Right.
know, if we walk around and I say, hey, you want to climb this tree and say it's a limb tree, right? We don't even
Mm-hmm.
have a stand in it.
Yeah.
And he'll say, yeah, let's do it. And he likes that kind of thing, you know.
Mm.
And I do too, but really that's not how I've been wired hunting.
Right.
But I just noticed that with him. And then my youngest, like he's ready to roll on his own right now. You know, he's asked me all the time. He's like, when you going to start? Have you started my YouTube channel yet? Like he wants to film everything. He's already bow hunting by himself. Like he killed 2 deer by himself this year.
Wow.
With
Wow.
Goodness. Hey,
so
Pappy, how many did you get this year?
Oh man,
I
no, we ain't gonna talk about that.
so family we killed 10, but I killed
Oh.
one
Mm.
with my bow, and then
Heck yeah.
but also, as far as fishing goes, my youngest son, he cracks me up, you know, because he he keeps it simple. Okay, so I
Mm-hmm.
told you I like to tinker and I like to tinker and tack, and I'll come up with some off the wall kind of stuff. Hey, he's like, "What are you doing? You're wasting time doing all that. Why you ain't got a market? Put that on there. Why are you putting a blade on that jig? You know, and he does not like forward facing sonar, you know, and so we went out there one time. I said, let's go out here. I said, let's just fish a jighead minnow and that's it. And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, no, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. And I said, come on. I said, let's just do it. He said, you can. I said, all right, I'll throw it. And so I went out there and I caught a few. And he said, all right, put me one on. I said, I got you one right here. And so I said, come up here and I'll show you. And so we'd see some fish and he'd throw out there and he started catching them. And he was like, oh, I can see I can see how this is fun. I can see how this is. And so we have a lot of catfish right here.
Uh-huh.
And so he likes to catch catfish. And I said, you see all those? I said, that's catfish. And so he started catching the catfish. And so now his joke is he likes scoping for cats. He said, I like scoping for cats. And he said you need to he said, Lucas, you need to make a T-shirt because we don't like the pet cats,
Mm-hmm.
right? We don't like cats.
Right.
Right.
Catfish, but we don't like cats.
Right.
Okay. He said you need a shirt that says I scope for cats.
Oh yeah, I could see that. That'd be great.
Put crosshairs in it with a cat.
Yeah. I watched one of your videos on, I believe it was on YouTube, and it I believe it was you and your dad. You guys was maybe cooking some, I believe it was crappie. And y'all was at the lake house or at a lake house or somewhere like that. And your youngest boy was wanting to go down there to the lake. I can't remember if he
Yeah.
was trying to go
Yep,
fishing, but he was going after the ducks.
that's right.
Yeah, I got a big kick out of that. I thought, yeah, that right there's wired up, buddy.
That's right.
So, yeah, I mean, because that was one thing when you was talking about crappie. I remember seeing a video where your boys are just out there just slaying some crappie, and so I was like,
Yeah.
"That's
Yep.
and that's one thing that like on your videos that you do that I really appreciate is like you've done videos of one how to clean fish and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and then how to change a boat tire, which that will go into changing a car tire as well. And because, and I don't know if you've done it intentionally for this because, and how when I seen those videos of you doing that, I'm like, you know, there's somebody out there that does not know how to do that because they may not have a father figure in their life to even show them that. And the time you take the time to go and show all that and how to do it, that it was really heartwarming to be able to see
Yeah.
those videos and stuff of you doing that. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's part of that. You know, I guess being in the entertainment business, I've seen a lot of boys grow up a lot differently than how I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
right,
and then I started noticing that, well, now it's actually happening even in areas where I grew up, that a lot of kids and a lot of people in my generation, are younger. They don't know how to do some of the manly
mm-mm,
things around the house,
right,
Mm-hmm.
and then our culture just has such a negative view toward masculinity, and especially in the entertainment business. Like, the father figure role has been undermined in entertainment for a long time now, but it's really
right,
become, in our face and blatant. It's hard to find a good masculine character on any movie and television show now. They're all weak,
right,
soft metro city boys that don't know how to do anything. And so I made it a point on my social media to, hey, let's just get back to the simple things, general maintenance, car maintenance, and also doing things around the house
Mm-hmm.
right,
uh, that young men should know how to do, that I'm teaching my boys to do. So I was going to video it, uh, and hopefully show how to be a good husband and a good father, because that's how we can bring masculinity back to a positive view in our culture.
yeah,
So that was the goal. I didn't really realize it was going to be uh, kick off, be viral, I guess if you want to call it. But
right.
for 5 years now, that slogan has has been like a trademark, and I was really surprised, but it worked.
That
Oh yeah, it definitely worked,
Yeah.
and I love it.
so. Oh
That's
yeah, and it is phenomenal, and uh, I mean, that's one thing. That's why we introduced you as the guy that's bringing masculinity back, and so because we want to be able to help promote you to be able to share it more, and because we everything that you do on that aspect is to us I mean, is awesome. It does. I mean, it just warms our heart to
yeah.
see somebody and want to take the time to be able to help somebody else. And so
Yep.
because you don't ever know, you don't know one day we pass away and then we get to heaven and then somebody comes up to you and says, Lucas, because of this video I accepted Christ. I mean, you don't know, and so I mean, that would be for me. That would be the greatest reward of all time. If somebody saying, "I accepted Christ because of you," and
Yeah.
and so, but kind of, I want to get back onto fishing. You grew up with Smith Lake and on the Tennessee River and stuff. So, would you rather fish river systems or would you rather do like swampy or highland reservoirs or something like that?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question, because I really don't know the answer to it. I love going to Smith Lake, love fishing Smith Lake, but I do not have a good track record in tournaments there. So I'm hoping to change that this week. Um, but I fished Lake Hartwell last year in the tackle warehouse circuit, and I had a good finish there. I finished 15th, and I implemented a lot of the things that I learned at Smith Lake on that lake at that time. It was in March, and that was fun. That was a fun tournament. I love fishing around the full moon, and it was during the full moon, and I caught them cranking, most of them, majority of them cranking, and that's I like doing that, and so Highland reservoirs, like I have a lot of experience.
Oh, wait.
I lost you for a second. Still there?
Yeah, we're still there. Pappy, can you? Oh,
Yeah,
there he comes.
there he is.
Let's see.
Can y'all hear me?
All right. Well, we
Yeah,
got
we
you
got
now.
Can you hear us?
I lost all sound.
Uh-oh. Oh,
Uh-oh.
goodness.
Can you hear us?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Well,
Yeah.
I can't hear you guys.
Oh, goodness. Let's see. What if I'm going to do like this? Maybe if
If you can hear me, I'll just keep talking, and then I can try to y'all can try to figure it out. But anyway, so that was a great tournament last year for me at Hartwell. But I love fishing. I got to get better definitely on Tennessee River. I do have to get better there because a lot of tournaments are held there. And I've had some decent finishes, but I've definitely got a lot to learn and got to get better. But other places I go to, Santee Cooper, I'm going there this year. I love that place. I fished the Florida lakes, Florida chains last year, and I really love fishing down there. And I'm starting off down there at Harris Chain on the Tackle Warehouse, and also at Okeechobee on the Toyota. But those, I don't know. I just love fishing shallow for largemouth, and so that's always fun and exciting for me.
yeah,
And so, if I had to choose, I guess since I did well at Hartwell last year, if you said, hey, you got to go to a tournament and you're going, which one are you going to do the best at? I guess I would probably choose a Highland Reservoir.
right.
But I do love fishing river systems and also, down in those ponds in Florida, just cause I can fish shallow, and that's my go-to there.
Yeah. So can you hear us now? Still can't hear. All right. Let's see. I'm going to.
I don't know what happened to the sound. I can't hear none of you guys.
Yeah. Let's see.
Let me try to sign back on real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's remove from scene, and we'll get him back on. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I and I mean we've talked about it, Pappy. With us, we grew up on the river and
Oh
with
yeah.
fishing Chickamauga, Nickajack, and Gunnersville and stuff like that. That for me, going to a Highland Reservoir got us.
All right.
Heck yeah. All right. Let me get this put back, and we'll keep on going, brother. So yeah, I was explaining with growing up. I grew up in Nashville, and then I moved to Chattanooga. But I grew up fishing Old Hickory, which is the Cumberland River, and then moved to Chattanooga, and we've got Chickamauga, Nickajack, and Gunnersville all on our back door. And if I go to a Highland Reservoir, I might as well just be fishing from the parking lot. Is how I feel. So
Yeah.
So,
Well, I like all those places you just named. Chickamauga really kind of the first tournament for me that was the start of that. Like, hey, I can, I can compete with these guys, I guess, so to speak. It wasn't like I
Yeah.
doubted it, but I fished. I fished there when Bank Shaw actually blew the tournament away. He
Oh,
won. He caught 30 pounds, but
well, he
but I
catches 30
finished. I
pounds
finished
sleeping.
like 15th that tournament,
Right.
and I love that place, man. I love it, and I look forward to going back and fishing the tournament there. Um, and Old Hickory as well. Like that was one I'd never been to, and I fished like a BFL Super there.
Right.
And dude, that I'm looking forward to going back to that place, and because I learned a lot. And that's one of those fisheries that I love fishing the jungle,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of wood in places that had built up, and I fished that. I fished, and it was just a lot of trash, and it was so much fun to be able to pull those largemouth out of there. So I'm looking forward to going back to both of those places.
Yeah. Oh, Ethan Jet says you can have the old Dinkers. He lives on Old Hickory Lake. So, so but are uh, are you going to be at the Classic this year?
I don't know yet. I'm not quite sure. I went last year,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we're still trying to figure out some things on the schedule to see if I'm going to make it or not.
Yeah, and that's the artwork, guys, that we done for the podcast, for this podcast with Hank Parker and Lucas and myself was actually from the Classic last year, and so,
Yeah.
but I so that's the reason why I'd love to be able to see you again. And I ran into you at the Classic, and then at ICAST, you come through
Yep.
the Spike It booth and
Oh
stopped and
yeah,
said hey to me. So,
that was fun.
but yeah. So what? So have you ever gone peacock fishing?
I have not, but
Oh
I want to
man,
go and throw a
you.
whopper flopper and just see them explode on it.
Mm, mm.
Oh, I tell you. Then the secret is like those the 80s, the Whopper Plopper 80s, the small ones,
Yep.
and I tell you, they are probably the best fighting freshwater fish that I have ever caught.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
and
Um,
but we don't want to take up too much more of your time, brother. But we have one question that we ask everybody that comes on the podcast, and so Pappy, you want to ask that, brother?
Oh, absolutely. It'd be my honor. First, I want to thank you for coming on. This has been such an honor for you to join us on the podcast. I mean,
Thanks for having me. Oh,
I love your videos. They're so inspiring, motivating. Such a great dad. Just, I mean,
thank you.
do a good job, man. Really did a good job.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
with that being said, so if you had one person that you could have on the boat with you, whether it be the person be with us today or maybe you had moved on, who would that person be and why?
Man, you know, that question hits home for me because my dad he went home to see Jesus
Mm,
on January the 13th, 2 years ago. And we grew up fishing. He took me fishing on Smith Lake predominantly. Um, and so it would definitely be him,
Yeah,
just because you don't get that time back. And we've had some
mm-hmm,
special memories out there on the water. Um, and I'll tell you funny stories. So one of the last times we went fishing together, we were out there on Smith, and my dad catches like a 3.5 pound spot. All right, great, good fish on Smith
good
Lake.
fish.
And we get it, we get it in the boat, and we're celebrating. And I think he only had like 2 rod and reels he was fishing. He sets that rod down and picks up another one. Well, I hear a boat start coming around the bend there, and he takes that other rod. He had his lure, which was a fluke, right? And that's what he caught that biggin on, caught on a super fluke. And he takes that lure, he takes his rod and puts it over in the boat. All right. And he keeps on fishing. And I think he was fishing like a finesse worm at that time. And I looked over there and I kind of smiled. I'm like, and so that boat goes by and I said, why'd you put that rod over in the boat like that? I said, you didn't want them to see what you were fishing with, did you? And he just started grinning. He said, no, I didn't. And so he didn't want them to see that super fluke.
Yeah.
And it's funny the things that you do, especially like if you're pre-fishing and people come by, because like how many times with you having a wrap boat and stuff, when that you'll see people. If boats could have tail lights on it to where you can see brake lights, I mean, it'd be crazy to see how many people you just see just bow up on it. And what's funny is that you just see they try to be nonchalant about it, and you just see them over there just hitting waypoint right there. And so, well, I was down in Florida one time fishing, and I had the cameras going and stuff, filming, doing some sponsor stuff, and I had this boat bow up on me, and I told the guy that was with me, and all he seen was that we had cameras and stuff going, and so when he started putting waypoints in, and I said, "Boy, I feel sorry for that guy because this is the very first time I ever been on this lake. I don't know what in the world I'm doing."
Yep, exactly.
So,
that's great.
But brother, thank you again, and guys, in the description is links to all his social media, and make sure you go to hit those links and start following. And again, the videos that he does, I mean, are heck of videos. There's probably going to be a video that he's already done or going to be doing that you're going to learn something out of, and make sure when you follow, put in the comments or something like that of one of his videos or posts. Say that you followed him and seen him on Deck Talk Podcast, and to let him know that we appreciate him coming on. And brother, we're so thankful to have you come on. Thank you for allowing God to use you and what in your life to be able to touch the numbers that you have been able to touch in the entertainment industry, and then also going after green and brown fish. So, but brother,
thank you, Colin.
Hopefully I'll get to, or we're actually, Pappy and I are going to be in Knoxville for the Classic. So hopefully we'll either get to see you there, or maybe I'll get to see you in ICAST. So hopefully we'll get to run into you here soon, brother. But thank you again.
Good. Thank you, Pappy. Thank you, Colin.
Yes, sir. Thank you, buddy.
Real quick, I do have one thing. We had Laker Hal on last week.
Oh, yeah.
He told us to ask you about breakfast with him and Ethan.
Ooh, so hey, we tear some breakfast up, boy. Hey, so so we stayed together a few times last year, and we both eat a lot of eggs. He eats like 8 eggs, and when I told him I eat like 6 eggs, so we immediately become friends. And so I was cooking breakfast, and they all come downstairs, whatever, and I flipped my eggs with just a pan, right? And so flipped my eggs, and Laker was like, "You just flipped in without a spatula?" I said, "Yeah." And so now he's doing it. So he'll send me videos. So you got to ask him. So the other day he sent me a video. He was flipping his pancakes without a spatula. So yeah. That's funny. I learned him something. Ethan, he likes them wappums. We call them wappums. The canned biscuits you open up,
you
pop on the counter. Jerry Clower. See, Jerry Clower used to have a skit. He called them old wappum biscuits. So.
Wappum. He don't know
Ethan
nothing
has
about
the
them.
waffles, and me and Laker, we cook the eggs, so we got a big breakfast going.
So,
Yeah.
well, brother, thank you again, and
Absolutely.
thank you for being able to help.
Yep.
Spread the word, and the
That's
guys
right.
again, go check out the 77 times
That's
link.
right.
It is in the description, so make sure we go and let's go share the word, guys. So we'll see you next week. We have Stephen Browning coming on next week, so so make sure you come and watch it, and we will see you later. Remember, guys, God loves you as if you were the only person in this world to love, and we will see you next week.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.